This is NDTV, and you're watching Classics.
Hello and welcome to this NDTV special. To be elevated to the status of a national obsession can often be a double-edged sword, and no one knows that better than Amitabh Bachchan, who joins me. Thanks very much, sir.
Double-edged sword.
Congratulations on the national award.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
It's a year late. Yes. But it's the first time you're speaking to us on television at length after the wedding. You sort of went into a shell, and then you came out and did a whole lot of print interviews.
Yeah.
Where it was almost like setting the record straight.
No, it wasn't. Whenever there's a request for an interview, I willingly give it. But we have very tight schedules, and it's tough to fit something in. But yes, there were some misgivings, and there was some misinformation with regard to a lot of things.
Many things, yeah.
Felt I should clear it up.
And most of those had to do, I mean, there were two sets of misgivings. One, of course, had to do with the fact that you couldn't call a lot of people, and a lot of your colleagues felt aggrieved.
No, I think that's a misconception.
You felt that there were no misgivings, or you felt that it was inevitable given that you couldn't call everybody?
It was a private moment, and I think that what needed to be understood was the fact that my mother lies critically ill in hospital, and we cannot possibly do something insensitive at that point of time. Therefore, we had to restrict the celebrations, and when you restrict celebrations, you restrict, design it the way you want to do it. I think that point was perhaps overlooked or not understood.
In fact, I remember you saying somewhere that if you try to call everybody you knew, and between all of you, if you'd call everybody you knew, it could have ended up becoming a huge circus. I mean, you've had 20, 30,000 people.
There can never be any limits. If you call everyone and you have a big show, then you say, why are you doing something so big? When you do something small, you're criticized for doing something small. So somewhere you have to leave it to our discretion. And we felt that what we did was right, and we're very happy with it, and so is everyone else.
And so a couple of your colleagues, like Shatrughan, was very public about the fact that he was upset. I don't know did you manage to speak to him?
He's a friend, and he's not going to be upset. We met several times after that. We've never discussed this thing at all.
Dilip Saab, again?
And Dilip Saab too.
All sorted out?
Absolutely. There was no sorting out to do because there wasn't any misconception in the first place.
Okay. The other...
I don't know whether I can talk about it or not, but there was some communication between Dilip Saab and the media, which was overlooked by the media, and therefore it was believed that...
yes, we heard something about him returning the mithai, which is what led us to believe that he was upset.
Absolutely no truth in that at all.
Okay. Yeah. And subsequently, I think he clarified that he was okay.
He wrote to me, and he's written to the media that you've written all kinds of nonsense.
Okay. The other kind of clarification, or the other thing which sort of put you in some ways in the defensive, was all the superstition business, which I think upset you quite a lot.
No, we didn't do anything superstitious, and it was the speculation on the part of the media. They found out, or don't know how they suddenly discovered or wanted to proclaim that there was a lot of superstition, and there was this Mangal and this Manglik, but there was no such thing like that at all.
You, in fact, when you said that you didn't even know what that was, you didn't even know what...
Yeah, I don't know what it means, and
So there was no business of looking at Aishwarya's horoscope or any of that. It was all just, I don't know how that...
Yeah. And even if it was, that's our business, really. I don't see how the rest of the world should be interested in it.
But do you think that the sort of constant temple visits fuel that sense of a family that suddenly seemed very visibly superstitious?
No, the attention is drawn by the electronic media. If you follow me throughout the day, and if you follow me in doing whatever I want to do, then yes, you will have a lot of repetitions. That's really not my problem. If you choose to follow me, and if I do go to temples, what is wrong with that? But if you're going to think that these are being done for a particular purpose, and design your own stories around it, then yes, then you have a problem, I don't.
But the temple visits were just regular visits, just like any family goes to a temple. You went to Tirupati, you went...
I've been hundreds of times. Why haven't you followed me then? Why now?
But it wasn't just the media. You may have also read some criticisms that were leveled at you by a section of the intelligentsia.
That's dangerous. And I've written to them in a personal capacity.
Okay.
And clarified it. The basis of each one of their their accusations or their perceptions or their analyses was that she was married off to a tree,
Yes.
when in fact they had no proof of it.
And
And it wasn't done. And it never was thought of. So when your very base is incorrect, I think it was ridiculous to be assuming all kinds of wrongdoings on our part.
So you wrote to each other, like Rajendra Yadav, for example,
Yes, I
famous
did.
Hindi writer. He wrote about. In fact, he mentioned how your father was someone who was an atheist and was not.
I
into
don't think
rituals
that it's really it's
He's gonna
ethical
personalize
to discuss it on a public podium. But yes, I do feel that if I responded to them in a personal capacity because that's how I wanted it to be.
Right.
I could have done it on a personal,
a public platform.
on a public platform and clarified it, but I don't think it's really ethical to do that.
But did it hurt you when you found that there was so much?
It's hurtful to
commentary and criticism?
to talk about my father and to misconstrue his writings and shove accusations towards me when he's not alive to defend his son. But I'm alive, and I'm here to defend Abhishek, and I will do that.
But what about Abhishek and Aishwarya? Because they haven't really had a chance to come out and speak post the wedding, and perhaps there's no really reason for them to do that. But
Yeah.
were they also feeling somewhat taken aback by the kind of
No, not
coverage
at
and
all.
commentary and all this business about superstition and all of that stuff?
I mean,
Did that
this is all
affect
part
them
of the
at all?
territory, that there are 4 or 5 celebrities in the house. What do you expect? Things like this will happen.